Does knowing that you just finished another episode of the Absolute Geek podcast leave you with an empty feeling in the pit of your stomach? Don't worry, we got you covered. Head on over to iTunes and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our content. As long as you're there, why not leave a review? Not an Apple user? No worries, we got your back. You can also find us on the Google Play Music Store, as well as SoundCloud, Stitcher, Podbean, Overcast, and any other podcast application. Want to keep in touch with us and be the first to know anything and everything the guys are up to? Make sure to like the Absolute Geek Podcast on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. If following adventures through pictures is more of your style, then make sure to stay up to date with the guys on Instagram. If you'd like to donate to the show, you can do so through Patreon and receive Patreon-only content. But remember, you never have to donate. That's an option. Your love and admiration is just as good. And as always, thanks for listening. What is going on, all you pickle pressers? It's Thursday night in Phoenix, and you're locked into the Absolute Geek Podcast, but it's comic book reviews. I am Matt.
And I'm Kyle.
And if this is your first time listening to this type of episode, this is where we go back and review all the new release books that came out this week that we buy, that then we return, read, and review for you. Hopefully that you buy and read. We'll just kind of keep it going.
Keep that little circle going.
Yeah.
Little circle of awesomeness.
Little circle of awesomeness. It is a very different world. We're podcasting from the new world now.
I know, it was weird. I woke up and it was fuck it. It was the same. Nothing's different. We
have a new president-elect, and you know, it's like the Joker said, you introduce a little bit of anarchy and people lose their minds, you know? But we're not going to get all political here. Just thought I would touch on it, saying that, you know, it's a different time right now than when we last came to you. So hopefully,
Not really.
No, it's really not. Hopefully people, you know, calm down and stop losing their fucking minds and
go back to enjoying themselves.
Yeah, and go and realize that really not that much is going to change in the next 4 years, and then you get the chance to do it over again if the guy you wanted to win didn't win.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, whatever.
I know. Talking to some of those millennials at my work.
Dude, don't talk to millennials.
And I was like...
The millennials are the reason why we don't have legal marijuana, but they raised fucking minimum wage.
I was like, they were bitching, and I was like, well, did you go vote? And they said, no. I said, well, that was your first fucking problem.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Right.
Sign up.
Why vote? It's a waste of time. Whatever.
And that's when I told them I was running for president, and they need to vote for me in 2020.
Kyle for president.
Viva la Kyle. Kyle for president, 2020.
What policies are you running on, Kyle?
The only thing I really want to do as president is get rid of the railroad. Because I'm tired of... by my house is a... by my house is like... I get stuck...
Just because it inconveniences you on your way to work.
It's like twice a week I get stuck at a fucking train for like 40 minutes. 30 to 40 minutes, at least twice a week.
Fuck that it's still like one of the number one ways to ship things in this country. Just because you get stuck at it, fuck it.
Dude, I want to get... That's my name. That's my main... but no, I really do want to run for president in 2020. But actually, what I really want to do is I really am looking to try to get onto my local council so that I can have the trains not come on during times that I drive across the train tracks.
You're gonna have quite the competition in 2020. It sounds like Kanye West,
He's
Ron
gonna be
Perlman.
my vice president. He's gonna be my chief of staff.
It'd be crazy, but. That's all my message. I don't want to get all political here because that shit gets you into trouble. But, you know, remember, we're all in this together. Chill your fucking shit out. Calm down. Don't go attacking each other and fucking tearing each other apart. It's, you know, the people were heard. They voiced their opinions, and we just got to deal with it. And I'm so sick and tired of hearing he's not my president. He is your president. He's all of our presidents. Like it or not, I didn't vote for him. I don't think you voted for him.
I didn't vote for him.
But that's who we got. So you just got to kind of deal with it and roll with the punches.
I voted for Butters Pickle.
Butters the pickle presser.
Butters...
Butters pickle pressures.
That shit was so funny on South Park. That whole thing.
Anyways, enough of fucking politics.
Viva la Kyle.
If we're going to talk about that, we'll talk about people's stupidity on What the Fuck Friday.
Hashtag
But
for president.
probably won't because it's just going to fucking...
Let's talk about comic books.
Cause unnecessary drama that we don't fucking need. But yeah, let's do it. Let's talk comic books.
What are you going to start us with?
What am I going to start? What are you going to start us with?
I always start.
All right, I'll go with Dead No More, Spider-Man, The Clone Conspiracy #2.
Did you read Clone Conspiracy #1?
I did. I didn't review it, though, because it was one of those off weeks where we only had, like, one book.
Uh-huh.
But to summarize it, pretty much what it is that Spider-Man is facing off against the Jackal. And he gets caught by the Jackal and finds out that...
Is he a pickle presser?
No. That Mary Jane... Not Mary Jane, but Gwen Stacy's alive again.
He's a snake smasher.
Yep. Gwen Stacy's alive again. Uncle Ben's alive again. And the Jackal's pretty much gone and reanimated every person that Spider-Man has killed in his history from the time of taking up the mantle of Spider-Man till current.
Whoa.
And he says he's doing it to give him the ability to do over. He's given him the ultimate gift to clear his conscience because now all these people are alive again.
Hashtag do-over.
And Spider-Man doesn't like that. Peter Parker doesn't like that. He's saying, that this isn't real. All you're doing is making clones of people. And the Jackal keeps saying, no, they're not clones. They're not clones. They're not clones. Well, in this issue, Doc Ock comes back. Spoiler alert. And he tells him that he basically says, I know everything about you. I still remember my time as Superior Spider-Man. I remember fighting along against you in Spider-Verse. I downloaded my memories in a shitty little robot that had no more memory space after I did it. And
like Jose's phone?
Yep. He initiates that he was in, Peter Parker's little helper robot this entire time. And now he's got his body back, thanks to the Jackal. So, everybody, Connors is back. Connors' wife, his son, Captain Stacy, Gwen Stacy, Uncle Ben, Tarantula, Prowler, Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, pretty fucking everybody's back.
Sounds big.
It is, a little bit. But in this issue, he's talking, it starts with Kane being chased by, zombie creatures. And he's talking about how he's running out of web fluid and he needs to be transported. So it's still kind of going along with the whole dimensional hopping that we got from Edge of Spider-Verse. And then it cuts back to current Peter Parker finding all this stuff up, and that's when he finds out about Ock and all this other stuff. And it revealed that the Gwen Stacy that he's talking to is actually Spider-Gwen. It's the Gwen Stacy from, that universe. It's Spider-Gwen.
Uh-huh.
And they end up leaving together, and she's like, Kane is waiting for us. He's trying to get here. No, he's like, she's waiting for us. He's trying to get here. He's having issues. And
they should all go play the Family Feud.
Oh, my God. So it turns out that Kane goes back to all the people that, were helping him. If you've ever read Scarlet Spider run, the people that are helping him in that. He goes to them for help, and he opens his trunk, and they have the clone Gwen Stacy in there. And she pretty much says, you're going to be in trouble when the Jackal catches you or finds out. And it turns out that these clones, and Kane says, I've been to multiple dimensions through many worlds, and the same thing happens. These clones turn into zombies and start running amok, and the Jackal's cloning mixed with Parker Industries technology. Peter Parker is the reason for the destruction of the world.
Wow.
And that's where it ends. So it's been pretty... it's pretty interesting through 2 issues. The art has been phenomenal.
Who's drawn it?
Chung.
Wayne Chung?
Wayne Chung tonight? His name is. But Slott... it's Slott's writing, so...
That means it's going to peter out soon.
Maybe.
Is it going to peter
Jim
Parker
Chung
out?
or Jim Chang?
Jim Chang?
Chun?
Chang? Whoa.
But it's got decent art in it. It's not... The art's really good. I really like Kane. He's... Next to Ben Reilly, he's my favorite Scarlet Spider. Actually, I probably even like him a little bit more.
Is that a Marvel Now?
No, this is just it actually is a standalone. What up, Plane? It's a standalone story. It's not even part of the Amazing Spider-Man run. It's a standalone event, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed it. I really like the art in it so far. But I'm gonna keep reading it. I give it an 8.
Wow.
I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and I know you are too. Lately, he hasn't been worth reading.
No,
Other than Miles, which I can't remember the last issue of Miles that came out.
it's been a while. Like it's on. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's on hiatus or what it is. I think the last one was the last issue of Miles Spider-Man was when Spider-Man was all part of the Secret Wars thing.
Yeah.
Or the right before
It was when they went. It was right when Banner got shot in the head.
Yes. And remember, Miles was standing there, like, not quite sure what to do.
Yeah.
He was kind of wanting to follow Iron Man, and he wasn't sure.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
Whatever happened with all that?
They haven't had another issue since.
Wow.
So, it's been a good book. So far, 2 issues in. It's been enjoyable. It's been a fun read. Like I was saying, it's been the best thing that's come out of Spider-Man since the Marvel reboot. And they started doing International Spider-Man or whatever the fuck it is, where Peter Parker's this big industry guy now. That story never caught me. It was never very good. But this has been a nice complement to it. It's been a nice Spider-Man story, 2 issues in, that reminds me of old Spider-Man, pre-700,
Yeah.
Superior Spider-Man. Because, in my opinion, the last good arc that Dan Slott wrote was Superior Spider-Man.
It was good, and then it, like, the only problem I had with it like, fizzled.
Yeah, once it got to, like, the Goblin Wars, it fizzled out.
Because, I mean, I was so excited to read it, and, like, out of the gate, it was a really good read. And all of a sudden, like, it seemed like he was like, okay, he built it, and he was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I only got 5 more issues to wrap this up, or 4 more issues, and all of a sudden it was like he just all of a sudden just like it went all up and just like spiked down.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember Superior Spider-Man. Like, and that's always been kind of Slott's problem is he takes a long time to build it up, and then like you get 12 issues to do it, so I'm going to take 9 issues to build it up.
It was anticlimactic. Is what it was.
But he always does it. It's all of his writing. He takes too long to build up the story.
Yeah.
So, but at least that seems like I'm just worried. I'm just scared to spend the money on it because it's going to fizzle on me.
We'll see. I mean, so far it's been interesting.
If you still have the same attitude by issue 4, then I'll go back and buy the first 3 and read them, or wait till they come out. But all right, I will do Shipwreck.
Number 2.
Number 2. This will be the last time you ever hear me talk about Shipwreck. It's just, maybe I'm not a smart guy. Maybe it's too fucking out there for me. It's not. Okay, we're 2 issues in, and it's still fucking just out there in left field. And this issue kind of put it a little more into outfield because it's got what's his name? Shipwrecked.
I think that's what his name was Shipwrecked. Or...
But it starts out where this dude is out in the middle of the desert, and there's this dead body, and he's tied up, and he starts slicing him open, and the birds come and start feeding on him, and Shipwrecked dude fucking walks up. He's pretty much like, what the fuck is going on? And then this dude who did it has like this philosophy of the cycle of life is, once you're dead, you have to give back to the planet, and you give back to the planet by, going to the birds to, you end up flying away after your carcass has been cleaned by birds. So that's, and he's pretty much like, I need to get to the next town. There's something I need to do. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I need to get to the town. He's like, well, I'm not going to town. I'm going to a bar. I'll take you to the bar. And he was like, well, and then that's what he's talking about. 'Cause he's, he goes back into his philosophy of why the birds have to eat the flesh of the carcass. It's because, the earth bleeds oil, which we use to make to make automobiles go. So we have to continue with this cycle. And then they get to the bar, and it's there's a bartender, there's a couple of people aside, and there's a chick, and they kind of like banter back and forth about what are you here for? Everybody comes here for the bell, and he's like, the bell? What the fuck does the bell? And what these people do is they put themselves underneath this bell, and the vibrations actually kill them.
Jesus.
It fucking like shatters their organs and ruptures their organs inside their body, and then that dude takes them after they do that. He takes them to the birds, and this chicken here is like, "Hey, I know you. You're his name's Jonathan Shipwrecked."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "You don't know me." He's like, "I just need to get to the next town." And she starts talking about like he built this machine that can like transport things. And what he's done with this is he's actually transported himself to another world, but in the process of transporting himself to the other world, he's not quite sure where he's at. And she's kind of alluding to him that what has actually happened is they've built a bigger one, and the world has actually like transferred into another world. And now that they're in this other place, and she's like alluding to him that he's actually like dead, and he doesn't even know he's dead because he's transferred through these two worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what the banter is back and forth,
It's kind of a cool concept.
It's cool, but it's so, like, I had to read it twice to actually get that out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Sometimes those are always the best stories, though. Like, those albums that you're like, man, this album fucking sucks. And then once you listen to it 2 or 3 times, you're like, man, this album's actually really good.
Then she, like, this dude's dead here, and she's like, and this is that the whole time there's this dead guy who this bell had just, like, ruptured all of his internal organs, and that's what they're going around back and forth, and he's like, I know about you, you've got something in you, and I've already downloaded everything about you, and I already know everything there is to know about you. And he's like, I don't even know where I'm at. I think I'm in hell. I'm supposed to be I need to get to this other town. I'm following somebody. They don't even know I'm following them, but I know I need to get there. I don't even know how fast they're traveling. I don't know where they're at. I'm just kind of wandering until I find this person. And that's where it kind of ends, is they're like, he kind of takes off, and, that's where she's like, Shipwreck, maybe you are really dead. Perhaps you cheated death, or perhaps the road was taking you to the burial plane, to be fed by the crows. And he's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. This is too trippy for me. And she rips out the dead guy's eyeball, and she goes, I'll be seeing you later. And that's where it ends. So I don't know. I think it's too far out there for me. I'm a simpler person. I like weird stuff, but I like it to be weird at the same time. I like to get that grasp more of what's going on. Mm-hmm. And this book isn't giving me that grasp of what's going on. Like, I still have no idea what's going on, and all this issue has taken me further back to what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if they've actually gone back, and how in the first issue where he showed up and he went into the restaurant, and there was the that guy that was in there. He was like the inspector.
Yeah.
And remember, the dude was dead, and the cook was dead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they've backpedaled and now they're catching back up to that, or you know what I mean. I don't really know what's going on. Like, they didn't even really talk about all the other stuff that happened in the first issue, so I don't know if it's like, you know what I mean. Like, they gave us the end, and now they've backed up and they're filling in the blanks now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm probably not going to buy issue 3. This was actually the last issue at my comic book store when I went yesterday.
I don't think people are ordering up on it.
No, just like I went to go get that issue 2 of Black, and my comic book store had only ordered 5 issues.
Really?
Yeah, like they ordered Super Heavy the first issue, and then they only ordered 5 issues of the second one. Which I guess it's my fault for not putting it on my pull list, but I didn't want it on my pull list. I just wanted to pick up the next issue.
Kind of feel it out.
And feel it out. I don't like to put things on my pull list until I get a grasp of it. Mm-hmm. Which kind of sucks too, because it also makes me forget about books as well, because they're not on my pull list.
Mm-hmm.
But I give Shipwreck. Honestly, I'm bailing on it. If I remember to pick up 3, I won't. But I'm gonna pretty much promise everybody that I'm not gonna talk about this book again. I gave this book a 5.
Really?
Just because it took me further away from. It took me
Is it
further
just,
away.
like, because you didn't understand it, or?
I understood it. It just I think he's trying too hard to be elusive and confusing and like out there with the story. Like I think he's trying.
He's trying to go to Inception with it, like a story within a story.
Yes.
Instead of a dream within a dream.
Yes, and
So it's a world within a world within a world.
Yes.
I got you.
He's breaking 16 worlds, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just not. I'm not feeling it.
Okay.
Fair
enough.
I'm sure there's people out there that are.
Yeah.
But I've given it 2 issues.
They're all fucking Trump supporters. No, just
Probably.
Kidding. I'm just kidding.
Maybe I might give it 4, but I really don't want to. I really don't want to spend my money on it.
All right.
Maybe I'll have to talk to Warren Ellis and Phil Hester about it, and they could change my mind.
All right. I'll do All-Star Batman number 4.
All-Star Batsuck.
Listen, I got a gripe with DC, and I always do. But I keep coming back. I always have a gripe with DC. What is with the checklists? I know, like, the dangerous humans, the young animals is like something they're really trying to push.
I
one,
bought that book.
2, 3.
I bought that cover right there.
4.
The one with Batman on it.
4 pages of ad for young animals. 4 pages of ads for young animals in each book. And that's on top of the other ads for all the volume 1s of the Rebirth stuff.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. You're charging me $4.99
for ads,
and it's mostly ads. Like, that blows my mind.
Like I kind of understand it in the $2.99 issues.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Even though they're not losing money on it, they're still. I think they're making more money. I understand to make up their cost per issue because it's only $3. They're inserting more ads, but they shouldn't be doing it in the fucking $5 one. Maybe it's because they're paying fucking JR and Snyder so much money to write and draw that book since they only do live fucking a quarter mile from each other, and they can walk over to each other's houses and bitch about something they don't like in the book so they can change it. Maybe that's why the book is the way it is, because since they live close to each other, they're overthinking this book.
Yeah.
Because they only live a quarter mile from each other.
Maybe that's
Snyder's probably sitting on the shitter having a beer writing this book, and J.R. pops his head in. Hey guys, I don't like this part right here. You need to change it. Okay, J.R., I'll do that for you. Junior. I'll do it. Just for you.
Nice. All right, so All-Star Batman issue 4. I have issues with this book. Scott Snyder. This is not the best piece of Scott Snyder writing.
I think issue 5 is the last issue that J.R. is drawing.
It is. It's the close of this first story arc.
Fuck yeah.
But I don't think it's his art. It's the writing. Like, Scott Snyder, it's not the same. And maybe it's my fault for thinking that it's going to be the same as Batman when he's writing Batman.
That might be it.
But to me, right now, the Batman writer that everyone should be reading is Tynion.
Fucking dude's on.
It's like once he left the main title, and Tynion's not even writing the main title. He's writing detective.
Yeah.
But once Snyder left the main title of Batman, he kind of fell off. He's trying to tell this Two-Face story arc that, to be honest with you, I have no fucking idea what he's trying to get out of it. Like, it dives a lot into Two-Face and Bruce Wayne's past as kids together. Mm-hmm. So when the book opens up, they're in this house and they're kind of in a basement, and you hear like someone saying, "Hello, is anyone out there?" And then it cuts to like
it's like Pink Floyd playing.
Yeah, it cuts to like this sleeper cell group of the Court of Owls with Two-Face, interrogating Batman, and Two-Face is like pouring acid in his face, and he's like, it's not the acid itself that hurts you, it's the vapors when it hits your eyes and it burns your skin. And so like Batman starts using echolocation, because so now that he's blinded, he starts using echolocation to see where everyone is.
Is he using the cell phone towers?
No, it's kind of like off of his suit. Mm-hmm. And Duke is there fighting with him too, so he starts using echolocation. And then, like, the Court of Owls gave Two-Face his own, like, division of owls that he could use. And he fills the sewer with water. And the Court of Owls go into this... They, like, tie Batman and Duke's feet, and then they go into this mode where they become, like, cement blocks to keep him at the bottom of the water. And Batman and him use sound waves to fucking break free. And then it shows Two-Face walking through, and he's trying to get his cell phone to work again, and then Duke, like, knocks him out from behind. And Batman and Duke are sitting there, and then it cuts to Batman telling Duke a story about when they're kids, and when he first gets the coin from... Two-Face gets the two-headed coin from his father. And he says... Batman says, Duke, I need to ask you, do you have it? He's like, what? He's like,
this dick.
You have it, don't you? The coin. You took it off Harvey. And Duke's like, I did. He's like, but earlier he said you weren't telling the full story about this house or headed to. I told you can't take it to Bruce. And so he basically tells him they made a bet when they were kids that when we were boys, we made a pact, me and Harvey. We'd kill each other's targets. He'd kill Joe Chill. I'd kill his father. We had it planned out. But then one day his father's coin arrived. The two-headed coin, and said yes, but also no. Harvey's father had it melted down and reminted. He changed it into a two-headed coin, Duke. It was his way of saying to Harvey, never again, or saying, I'll be better. So basically it goes into this whole story about this coin and how Batman and Harvey made this pact when they were kids to kill the other's enemy. And it kind of goes into the whole story. So Duke gives Batman the coin back, and then as they're flying mid-air, you see another plane start to crash, and he gets Batman gets booted in the head by the dude the mercenary that was hired by the Penguin and all them. And they take him to a carnival, and the Penguin and Black Mask and them all have him tied up and stuff. And kind of Two-Face is there as well. And then literally they walk outside and there's nothing but a ton of mercenaries. And Batman's like, Duke, what am I seeing? And he sees in black and white. It's just kind of all these people. And then the back issue kind of cuts to the Duke story again. And it's Duke in the hospital, and there's this woman who was attacked by Azazel. And he like kicks him out the window, and then Batman pounces on him, and that's where it all kind of ends. And it gets ready and then it ends with Batman and Duke standing in the Batcave. What's next? And the Cursed Wheel Part 4, the final bet, is the next issue. The writing on this book is not very well. It's not Scott Snyder-esque. It's not what we've come to know and enjoy from Scott Snyder. I like the fact that he took a chance and he's writing All-Star Batman. I don't like the story I'm getting for $4.99 an issue.
Yeah.
I don't like all the extra ads I'm getting for $4.99 an issue. Charging me $4.99 just because it's on a heavier paper in a different glossier cover. Give me that option. Yeah. Give you the option of a $2.99 an issue versus a $4.99 issue. I would take the $2.99 because the paper, it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
The story, like I said, though, it feels like it's all over the place. It kind of feels like it's lost its original destination in the middle. It's kind of got lost, and I don't know if it's supposed to feel like that. And then the final issue, it's all going to come around and make you go, oh, okay, I see now. And, but Scott Snyder's usually a very good, straightforward writer. He has twists and turns put in there, but you can usually find your way out of them. Yeah. And this kind of one feels like you're in that corn maze scratching your head, and you're just like, which way do I go? Which way did I come from? I think I've been here before.
I'm hoping that the next story, maybe the next story arc will pick up.
I feel like it's just all these villains thrown in here, along with Two-Face, and then now you get the owls added in. It just feels all like very familiar, like you've been here before, and it just doesn't.
But yet at the same time, lost.
Right, at the same time, lost, and it's just like it's not a story that's grabbing me.
Yeah. And it's been like that since issue 1.
I'm honestly only still reading this book because of Snyder, because I like his writing.
And you think it's going to turn around and pick up?
I hope so. I'm hoping that he's going to find his footing after this first story.
Because he does that, though, when he writes. He stumbles once in a while.
Yeah, but it's very rare he stumbles through an entire arc. Like, even when we were going through, what was his arc with the Joker, the last one he did? Endgame.
Uh-huh.
He had a couple issues where he stumbled through that. But, it's very rare that he stumbles, and for 4 issues, it kind of feels like he's been stumbling.
Yeah.
And, the first issue had me intrigued because it's a different Batman. He's out of Gotham. He's kind of traveling. He's on the move. Like, it's different situations. Mm. It's a different Batman. The first issue is very intriguing, but with each passing issue, it's kind of like, why am I still reading this?
Right.
Why am I still reading this? Why am I still reading this? And I don't care. I don't care about the story. I don't care about his connection with Two-Face. It's an interesting take that he's going this route and giving the villains a different look and a different light and a different perspective. Mm. But I don't care. It's not good. So far, to me, it's been the first 4 issues
below average.
Yeah, the first 4 issues of All-Star Batman have been lackluster. They're not as good as they were overhyped to be.
Yeah.
Romita's art isn't as good as it used to be. It's like with Romita, man, he was such a phenomenal Spider-Man artist. He's my Spider-Man artist. He's, to me, like the definitive Spider-Man artist that I remember. Like, his dad was great, but I remember when I first started reading it was Romita that I was reading, drawing it. Romita and then McFarlane. But once he started Kick-Ass, man, he can't get out of that Kick-Ass style. He did Kick-Ass that way. He did Hit Girl that way. He did Superman that way. And now All-Star Batman. He can't get out of that Kick-Ass style. He just can't seem to do it. Mm-mm. Out of the blocky fucking... It's like everyone's a block.
Yeah.
He just can't get out of that style. And I feel like that kind of hurts his story, but not as much as... Like I said to you earlier today, it's not so much his art style, it's the quality of writing.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but I feel like the quality in writing this book is not up to snuff with Witches or American Vampire or pretty much any of the other stuff he's done. Batman, Detective, all the other stuff he's done. It's just not. I would think that, if I were to go, Scott Snyder, show me your resume, and he showed me his run on Batman, American Vampire, Witches, Detective, and this, I would say this is your weakest piece of literature. Right here is All-Star Batman, and it's sad, and I'm hoping that it's just that first 4 issues slump.
Uh-huh.
I'm hoping it's kind of the same way as King. He's got that first few issues slump, and then he'll come on strong.
Yeah.
So maybe once Jock comes in and he can kind of, since they're used to working together, he can kind of have more freedoms than he had with JR and not need to do so much. Mm-hmm. That the story will get better. But right now, I mean, I have to give this book a 6.5.
Jeez.
Yeah, it just... I'm about ready to bail on it. And the only thing that's keeping me on it is Snyder. That's the only reason I keep going.
Because you have faith in him. You know he has the ability to fucking write a kick-ass...
I have faith in him. He's one of my favorite comic book writers next to Brian Michael Bendis. I have faith that he can turn it around. But right now it's not his strongest piece that he's been working on. So
that's it.
I think 6.5 it's a firm but fair rating.
All right, I'm gonna do Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Adventures #1.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja
Turtles.
Pickle Smashers.
Pickle Smashers.
All right, so this book is drawn like the Ninja Turtle cartoon is right now. You know what I'm talking about? The new Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
That's how it's drawn.
Oh.
And that's how...
No thanks.
And that's how Batman is drawn as well.
Oh, he's drawn like Batman the Animated Series Batman. Yeah. Okay.
So, that wasn't bad. But what this issue pretty much does is if for some reason you've been living under a rock your entire comic book or non-comic book life, this book pretty much introduces you to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it starts out, this Michelangelo comes up to this guy in the alley, and he's...
Does it make any reference that they've met each other before?
No. This is brand new. But this, it starts out where, it starts out with Raphael. And he goes, he's rude, not always wrong, but he's definitely rude. Michelangelo, kind of a superhero kick right now, but it'll probably pass. Donatello, the smart one, enjoys messing with machines and occasionally his brothers. Leonardo, the leader, not exactly happy at the moment. And it's him, and they're, and then it switches over to Batman. And Batman's got his ring watch on, his ring flashlight. And, and then introduces Batman. Batman, less happy than Leonardo, especially tonight. And he comes through and he busts a couple villains. And he meets Two-Face. Two-Face is in this one. And what he's doing is he's escaped from Arkham. Mm-hmm. And Batman's come to take him back. How did you escape? How did you get out? Is
he very Batman the Animated Series Two-Face?
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Nice.
And so it's, introduces, Two-Face, Harvey Dent, a man of two minds. You know what I mean? So this is kind of what it's done. It's introduced April O'Neil. And what's happened is they found that there is... I think what it is Harvey has found the Krang's portals.
You know what this feels like? This feels like one of those books that's very meant for two generations. It's meant for the current kids, and it's meant for the older generation. So it's meant for, this is kind of the book that the parents and children can get together and read at bedtime together.
Yes.
Because you kind of got the nostalgia pleasure of Batman the Animated Series from when you were a kid, and now you're reading the Ninja Turtles that your kids watch on Nickelodeon. Yes, that version of Ninja Turtles in the book, it feels like it's very... It's meant to be like a family.
Two worlds together.
Yeah, it's meant to be one of those books that's read as a family and not by some 35-year-old dude by himself. No offense.
So that's what kind of is going on is they're just kind of introducing everybody, and right now that's what happens is they figured out that the Krang portals are here, and then what happens is they get here to figure out what's going on with it. Michelangelo gets sucked under and comes back up, but it ends up being Clayface.
Clayface, nice.
So Clayface is in this as well. So they're trying to, they're like, who the hell are you? Who are you? And they kind of battle. They're like, we don't really want to battle you because we don't really know who you are, but you're kind of attacking us, And they kind of go back and forth, and then they kind of defeat Clayface with a bunch of water, flush him away, and it sucks him back into these little triangle portals, and it switches back to, it introduces Pennyworth, Batman's butler and right-man hand, rarely shocked. So this is what's kind of done is it's kind of introduced you into this story. It introduced you and everybody, and they're kind of kicking it off. And then it goes into the Foot Clan. They're in Chinatown, and they're fighting, and you hear, this is kind of cool, they're like, he goes, they're fighting, and they kind of get defeated, and they're like, and two of the Foot Clan are like nervous, and they're like looking around, and he goes, oh good, reinforcements. We're new to this world, so let's try this again the old-fashioned way, shall we? And it's fucking Joker and Harley Quinn. Then he goes, take me to your leader, the Joker, Trouble. Harley Quinn, trouble, and that's where this ends. And the next one has got Harley Quinn on the cover. So yeah, I think you nailed it. It's bringing the two worlds together.
Well, yeah, because you'd think if it was meant for a more mature, older audience, it would have gone with more a classic style on the Turtles, and maybe what they're currently being drawn like in the book instead of the Ninja Turtles, Nickelodeon.
And Robin is also going to be in this book.
Which Robin?
I don't know. They don't tell you which Robin, because all he says is
probably Dick.
What happens is he's probably.
I don't know.
With
did
the
Tim,
fucking hair and the
Tim
the mulletish.
Did Tim ever make it into animated series? I don't think he did. Jason did, didn't he? I think Jason did, but later on.
Yeah, but remember he's got kind of like the mullet.
Yeah.
Thing. It's kind of almost how they portray him in Teen Titans. But what happens is also and I think this is where Batman's gonna meet. He's eventually gonna run into the Turtles and Joker soon, but he's also figured out these portal things too.
So did Michelangelo come back through the portal after Clayface was?
Well, Clayface had come through; it was already there, and all he had really done is he had popped up and tried to act like Michelangelo, and he turned into Clayface real quick. So no, because he pops back up and he helps fight him, and then they turn the water thing on. Donatello does, and it fucking gushes the water, and it pushes just Clayface back through the portal. So I'm assuming there must be multiple portals.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah, because like the one that I think that was connecting Two-Face and the portal, it's not the one that's in the sewer, like they had found. So, but Batman had found where the portal is, so he was actually going to it. So, it's gonna be cool. Robin's gonna be in it. Batman's in it. Ninja Turtles are in it. It's not as serious as I think what Tinian wrote. I think it's going to be a little more lighthearted, but I really like that the Joker and Harley Quinn are in it. So I really enjoyed this. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm going to give this book a 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it sounds like a book that you can enjoy with your kids, and it kind of has something for both of you. The nostalgia feel of Batman in the animated series for you, and the Ninja Turtles cartoon that your kids are used to watching on Nickelodeon right now.
Yeah.
So it kind of has a little bit of something for everyone.
I thought it was pretty good, and it is Nickelodeon. It has it on the cover.
Well, yeah, I would.
So I mean,
along with DC,
there
and
was
IDW, and
there's
gonna have them all.
There was like 5 covers, but I picked the cover that was closest to Eastman art. But I don't think Kevin Eastman actually drew this. It looks like it, but
he's not like an executive producer in the book. He doesn't have anything to do with it.
I don't think so. I didn't see his name in it. What books do you have left? Are you down to Flash and?
Yep.
Okay, I will do my Image one then. This is my pick of the week.
Really?
It's called Violent Love. It's Violent Love #1. It's a Image book.
I was gonna pick that up too, and I thumbed through it, and I was kind of like, the art's kind of wonky. It looks kind of interesting, but I don't know if it's worth it.
I like the art. This book starts out. It's called Violent Love. It's written by Frank J. Barbary. Art is by a guy named Victor Santos, and the design is by Dylan Todd. This book starts out in 1987, where a girl shows
As most
up.
good books should.
Right, a girl. It says a criminal romance inspired by true events. A girl shows up, is driven to a house of some old guy, and I think that's where. I don't think it's not like her uncle. It's not like, but her mom is on her way to pick her up from this house. So she goes in, and he's like an old sheriff, old law enforcement guy. So she goes in and she sees a wanted FBI poster of a Rock Bradley and a Daisy Jane. So they kind of banter, what is this? And he's like, well, let's just say, so these two, they were the most notorious crooks to ever come around these parts of Texas. He says, but just so happens that they also saved my life. And he's like, and it shoots over to they're standing next to each other, and he's kind of talking about, there was different back then. You couldn't really tell that they were criminals. They were, they shared a violent love that, consumed everything in their path. Kind of like a Mickey and Mallory kind of feel.
Like Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah. And so what ends up happening is she's like, you don't want to hear this. She's like, oh, tell me the story. She's like, okay, I'll tell you the story. So what this issue does is it introduces Daisy Jane to you. Daisy Jane. So it starts out, she's like a waitress, and I think she's like 19. It's 19, now we're to 1969.
Mm-hmm.
So we've gone back a while. She's waiting tables, she's 19. Her dad is a mechanic that had, he worked hard, got his own mechanic shop. Used to be kind of a thuggish guy back in the day, kind of, break your leg if you owed the mom money kind of dude. What happened is they got in an accident and they had found this guy. His guy's name's called Johnny Nails. And what he does is, the guy owes him money, he tortures him. He drives nails into their hands and arms with a hammer, to torture people to fucking, get his way. And, he's like, you're not,
You mean he doesn't do it just to show a sign of affection?
No.
I love you. Take this nail into the arm.
He's like, the guy's like, he's got like one guy tied up and he's like driving nails through his hand into the fucking arms of the chair.
Nothing says I love you like me nailing your cock to this board.
Right. Fucking pickle smasher. And fucking, he's like, I can get you the money. I swear I'll get you the money. And he's like, oh, you're not listening. It's not the money. It's about respect. And it's about getting your undivided attention. And he starts fucking whacking the nails and fucking, driving them all home. But what happens is they get in an accident, and this is how they meet. This is how Johnny Nails meets Daisy Jane and her dad. They get in a car accident, and he goes, hey, I'll fix your car for you. I'm a great mechanic. This is how I'll take care of it. But what ends up happening is he's kind of a thuggish guy, and the deal that they end up working out with him is they use his shop to torture people. So, so she gets accepted, Daisy gets accepted to college. So she's all excited, Dad, let's go out before it. And he's like, I can't, I got to work on a car. Here's some money to go to the movies. And she ends up coming back early. And like, he finally decides he wants to, he's like, you sit, Johnny Nails is like, you sit there long enough, old man. You know what? Come here and participate. And he picks up a wrench, and they've got this guy fucking tied up. And just as his daughter walks in, he's fucking whacking this dude in the head with a wrench and bashing in his head. And so she freaks out, says, I thought you left that life behind you, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, fuck it, I got accepted to college. I'm leaving for college. Fuck you, I'm out. So, he finally gets a hold of her, and she decides to forgive him, come back, have a dinner, talk, work it out. And what happens is Johnny Nails doesn't like the fact that he told that Daisy's dad told him, you can't use my shop to torture and kill people and, do your thing anymore. So what he does is he shows up at his house, and he ends up, torturing him just as she walks in, and she's like, and then she snaps, I'm going to fucking kill you. This is fucking over with. And fucking, he's like, I'll show you what it is. And he fucking douses her in gasoline, fucking lights her dad on fire right in front of her.
Wow.
And that's where that ends. And he's fucking lighting a cigarette and walking away. And that's kind of, so they've kind of, what they've done with this issue is they've introduced where her turning point and, becoming a criminal and this crazy motherfucking person.
That's actually really interesting.
This is my pick of the week. I didn't see anything about it. I didn't see any thing on the internet about it or any, none of my sites had its,
Well, I've seen things about it in the back of Walking Dead recently, and then I also get the Image First, the kind of letting you know what's coming out.
Yeah.
I've seen it in there too, and I was like, okay, well maybe I'll look it up. And I thumbed through it, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna. It was just interesting to me, and I was kind of in a hurry, and I was like, I think I'll pass, but I think I might go try and find it.
No, this is a good book. It was really good. It was because I don't read the previews. I don't look at the ads in the back of the books. Fucking none of that shit. Like I all ads I just skip over. Don't even look at them. And so I saw image one. Picked it up, thumbed through a few pages, and I was like, I think this has a good. So no, this is my pick of the week. Violent Love. Image number one. It's kind of cool, and the cover's cool too. It says copyright 1971. It says it's got a rated R, like almost like it's a movie poster. So that's kind of this was the. There was two covers to this book, and I thought the movie poster cover was cooler. So, but I gave this book an 8.5. It was and you know how most first issues we have a hard time like. They have a hard time. Okay, they're trying to introduce you to a lot. They're trying to get you going. You're not quite sure about the book. I think for a first issue, they really set the tone really good. It had and it kept me into it. I really enjoyed it. You notice when we do a lot of these number ones, we go, well, it's a number one, so it's kind of all over the place. This one wasn't really all over the place. This one was it took the backstory of what led. So I'm assuming issue 2 is his backstory, what leads him up, and I'm assuming at the end of issue 2, whatever triggers him, it gets to the point where they meet doing something. So I'm assuming issue 2 is his backstory of how they meet and what triggers him to become on his violent path, and I think that's what was cool about this issue 1 is I knew what was going on. They didn't try to project out. They didn't try to make it weird. They didn't leave you like, okay, well, I guess number 2. I guess I'll kind of see what's going on. No, it was just her backstory.
Well, it sounds like the writer of this story knows he has a story to tell, and that he was well thought out and he was well prepared, and he came out, and that's exactly what he did with number 1 is he set the story.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So this is my pick of the week. I give it an 8.5. It's kind of funny too because I went and thumbed through because I looked at the fucking book, and it's funny because I'm really weird about my books. I read them and finger fuck them and stuff. But I looked at the back. I said, "Oh fuck this one! It's all dirty."
Yeah, it's just a page.
And I went, and the dude at my comic book store was like, "I think it's the book, but go check them out just in case, and go find a better copy if you want." I picked them all up, and both this cover and the variant cover. This is the variant cover. But both covers, the backs are the same. It's got a heart. It's a crazy looking dude looking through it. It says, "Good love is not safe," and it's like it looks dirty. All the issues are like that. They're all during the same exact spots. So it's meant to be like that.
Yeah.
But everybody, if you passed it up at your local comic book store,
I actually just texted my local comic book guy and told him to pull it for me.
yeah, it's really good.
So
I'm actually gonna have when I go. My comic book store is having 50% off sale for Veterans Day weekend.
Ooh.
Everything's 50% off.
Ooh.
Back issues, trades, everything. So I'm probably going to go hit it up this weekend and go thumb through and, find a couple. Yeah, find something. So I'm probably going to, when I go back, I'm going to have them add this to my pull list. So 8.5, everybody hit your comic book store, check it up. I'm actually going to go on Twitter and hit the writer and artist up and fucking
8.5 from a Kyle Stinson.
Yes, sir. So now we're down to 2. Our last 2 books. What do you want to do, Flash or Detective?
Well, we've talked enough Batman for right now. Let's go Flash.
Let's go Flash.
Flash number 10, The Speed of Darkness, Part 1.
I was kind of worried what they were going to do without Godspeed in the picture because it was so good. So going into this issue, I really didn't. I was like, I saw this cover. I think you got the other cover. I was like, I was really wondering where Flash is going to go now because I was so excited about Godspeed and I was really like, I really wanted it to last longer than one arc. I really hope they bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he I hope he comes back and he has to battle Flash again because that was a good story.
It was.
But go ahead, because I did enough talking.
Well, what I really liked about this story is that the Flash Rebirth, you're getting 2 brand new villains right off the bat.
Yeah.
You're getting Godspeed, and now you're getting the Shadow, this Shadow guy. I don't think they actually like establish a name for him. But it kind of starts out with a little story, and it says, in times past there was a man made of darkness. Haunted by his own history, the man learned that one of the real horrors of life was that your life could be affected by the maliciousness of others. At his worst, he turned to misdeeds and mischief. But one day he was blessed with the love, friendship, or with the friendship and love. He found hope and gave up his wicked ways. The man of darkness lived happily ever after. So, essentially, what this book is Barry. It opens up with Barry and Iris running through the park. Iris tells him that there's been people being attacked in this park, and I didn't want to make myself known, so I asked you to run with me. And as they're running,
I like how he acts like he's winded.
yeah, he acts like he's winning. Well, you kind of get 3 new villains because as they're
You get paper cut too.
yeah, as they're running, a villain by the name of Papercut starts attacking him. He's attacking with people with origami, ninja stars, and stuff like that. And as he's attacking,
Yeah,
Barry,
he can control. He can control the wood.
right, and as he's attacking,
I wonder if it's all kinds of wood.
Barry's kind of like in the dilemma. He's like, I can't turn
I think
into.
it's a pickle smasher.
I don't know. I can't transform into to Flash because Iris is right here.
Because I think Iris was
And she
actually
had a
like,
hold of him, yeah.
she's actually like holding on to him.
So as he's pretty much trying to figure out what to do, like before this, she was kind of telling him that Wally's been skipping school, and as Papercut's about to attack, Kid Flash shows up. Wally West shows up.
Ditching school.
Yeah, ditching school to be Kid Flash, and him and Flash had a pact.
Wouldn't you
had
though?
a deal. Well, yeah, him and Flash had a deal that he's not to be Kid Flash. He's not to wear the costume. He's not to be using his powers unless Flash is with him. And he kind of defeats Papercut, and he's gloating and stops to take for pictures. Well, that's when you find out that Papercut's real ability is controlling wood, not just paper.
Wood.
And he kind of starts attacking everyone, and then Barry. That's when Barry gets his chance to take off and get his costume and come back as the Flash and pretty much beat the hell out of Papercut. And Iris calls out Kid Flash and starts yelling at him, it's clear she knows it's Wally.
Yeah.
And she's like, "You're gonna be in trouble," and he takes off, and Flash kind of chases him, and Flash is like, "Wally, come with me now," and they run, and he chases him. He takes him back to his school, and Barry kind of calls him out. He's like, "Listen, I know that you're disobeying me. You're running off and gallivanting with the Teen Titans.
I like that they included that.
Yeah, you're fighting as Kid Flash without me when I specifically told you were not to do this without me." And, Wally kind of flips out and he's like, the older redheaded me knows who you are. I don't even know who you are. And you're sitting here lecturing me like you know me and you don't even trust me enough to tell me who you are. And it kind of brings into this inner turmoil with Barry where he's like, well, I can't go through this again. This is what happened with Godspeed is that I showed him how to use the Speed Force, but I didn't teach him how to be a hero. And he's like, I can't make that same mistake with Wally. And he's gonna, he's kind of gonna go through the whole process of maybe teaching him how to be more of a hero and less to deal with the Speed Force. And then it cuts to, basically his friend, Wally's friend, telling him about a new metahuman that's been spotted, and then Wally's at home getting yelled at by Iris and grounded and told that he can't be Kid Flash right now. And Wally's like, I'll show everyone, I'll show Flash that I can do this. And he's like, I just need a method to fight, to prove myself. And he's like, he remembers the Shadow. And so he was racing around Central City to find it. And he ends up running into it. And the man in the darkness and was like, hey, I don't know what you're up to, but you shouldn't be out here scaring people. And the guy says crotchety. He's like, Flash. And Wally's like, that's Kid Flash. Whoa. And he turns around and he says, hope was taken, and without hope, life is meaningless, Flash. Wally's kind of like, that's kind of bleak. I can help you. What are you doing in Central City? And then that's when he kind of gets attacked and ends up in this like dark dimension, the Shadowlands. Mm-hmm. And that's where it ends.
I thought, you know what? Is the same person drawing it as last 2 weeks ago? Because the art isn't as bad in this one as it was 2 weeks ago.
I think 2 weeks ago was just a one-off issue because the next issue after that was good. Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry. You're right. It wasn't because that was the one-off issue with the story where I said that Wally West, Wally West showed up and he really had no fucking point being there. I don't think it is. I think it's someone else drawing it now.
Because it was drawn a lot better.
Yeah. This is kind of this is kind of setting the stage for the next villain. And I enjoyed this book because I'm interested to see what a Shadow Man is and he's all about. I like that it had the lessons between, you saw the camaraderie between Wally West and Barry. You saw the parental skills of Iris. You kind of know that Barry still, even though it's a Wally West, he doesn't necessarily trust him enough to just tell him who he is after what happened to his girlfriend, who he still suspects is still alive. You kind of had the defiantness of Wally West and still being Kid Flash without Barry. You had the inclusion of the Teen Titans. You kind of had a little bit of everything.
I honestly, I gave that issue an 8. It set up the story. It was good. I like the new. I'm happy that there's a new villain. I'm glad they're rolling into something else. I really liked that. That everything isn't going. It is training a superhero to be a superhero isn't all flowers and picnics.
Right.
It's hard and it's
right.
a battle, and this just shows right there that Barry he's trying to give him a little freedom, but he's still trying to keep him reined in at the same time. Like he's not calling, he didn't call him out for what he's doing until he had to call him out.
Yeah.
He could have been like right off the bat, hey, you need to quit fucking with the Teen Titans, but no, he's still letting him go out and you know what I mean? He's letting him go out, but he doesn't want him to, but he knows he's doing it, but he's not actually stopping it.
Right.
So actually, I thought that was kind of a cool twist as well.
Well, he kind of gives Wally that speech. He's like, "What do you think that you're the first one to do this to me?"
Yeah.
He's like, the other Wally West did the same thing, running around with a group of teenage superheroes, and you think you're gonna get away with it. I have to disagree with you though. I give this book a 7.5. It was a solid story. It was a good introduction of a solid villain, but it missed that wow factor. It missed that holy shit moment, that wow moment that you got with the first arc with Godspeed.
But I think Godspeed was just such a fucking cool character.
Yeah, but I mean, this guy has the potential to be a cool character too, a cool villain as well. But it just missed that pop factor. It missed that.
I think that's part of the Shadow, though.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Maybe I'm looking at it too deep, but you don't expect the Shadow to have a fucking to wow you instantly. The Shadow is going to. I think he's gonna grow, and you're gonna be like. I think as a long term, you're gonna be over a few issues. You're gonna be wowed.
Well, I don't even think it necessarily had to be the Shadow that gave you that wow factor. It could have been Paper Cut, but it just.
At first, I was like, "Fuck, this guy's throwing fucking Chinese stars with paper." I was like, "Fucking
origami."
Really?
But it just, to me, it missed that wow factor to push it up to an 8. Mm-hmm. My personal opinion, I give it a 7.5.
I just have a hard on for the Flash, so.
I mean, that's fine. We have our different reasons, but I just think for me, it missed that pop factor. It missed that ability to really make it stand out. Because, I mean, this is the first issue where we're getting to kick off a new story arc.
Yeah.
It just missed that kind of wow factor where if I was just getting into the Flash and I haven't been reading it since issue 1 of the Rebirth, I would probably be like,
I'll give it a few more issues.
Yeah, maybe. See. I don't see what the hype is, but the other thing I have to say is DC. You can lose the Rebirth thing now.
Yes,
we're 10 issues in.
We're all used to it now.
We're good. You can lose the Rebirth banner now. But I give Flash 7.5.
I was wondering if they're going to lose this, because I hope they don't do like a convergence or something that takes that away, like how they did with the New 52.
Yeah.
But all right, fucking Batman Detective Comics. I had to admit, And I was talking to somebody about this at the comic book store because I was talking about I was like, oh, great, Detective Comics, cool, and they're like, Detective Comics, and I was like, Tynion is a badass writer, and he's been a badass writer. And he's like, and he was kind of looking at me, and he was like, I was like, dude, I was like, Batman Eternal, Batman Robin Eternal, Batman Ninja Turtles, and now we're to Detective Comics. I mean, like, whatever Tynion has been given, he did a weekly title, even though like Batman Robin Eternal had its ups and downs, it was a weekly title. So he's gone from a weekly title, he got a little bit of a break, and now he's back to a bi-weekly title.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he's probably one of my favorite writers right now.
Yes, he definitely has quickly become one of my favorite writers.
I've been saying this. I've been saying Tynion is an awesome writer for a long time. I mean, at least since Batman Eternal.
Well, yeah, because he even said it to me, because my first real... You read Batman and Robin Eternal. My first real interaction with Tynion was Batman Ninja Turtles. Mm-hmm. And I said, it's kind of campy. It's kind of... I don't know how he's going to do on Batman and in Detective. And you're like, dude, he's going to fucking kill it. You're like, he is going to kill it. He's going to rock it. Trust me. Tynion knows what he's doing. He is the Scott Snyder protege. And you're absolutely right.
Yeah, he's fucking killing it.
He is crushing it on Detective right now.
I think he has found his muse. Like he's off and he's running and he's had. I mean, he's had a lot of material. I think doing those weekly titles has made him a better writer. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, now can you imagine if Detective was a monthly title and he had a month to plan this stuff out? I mean, he's killing it. He did a good job doing it weekly. He's killing it doing bi-weekly. I can't even imagine how he would do it. Like, even he was doing Ninja Turtles Batman, it was good. It was only 6 issues.
Yeah.
But it was there wasn't a bad issue. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if he was writing Detective monthly? I think it would be phenomenal.
It's already a phenomenal.
No, it is, but I mean, I think my mind would be blown. But no, it's awesome. We're in fucking...
This is issue 2 of... This is
issue 944.
Batman Detective Comics, issue 944, part 2 of the Victim Syndicate. Where we left off, last time we reviewed it, Batman and Batwoman and the crew went to a gala. They ran into Batwing, and then shit went south when the Victim Syndicate? Mm-hmm. The Victim Syndicate crashed the party, and then it picks up right where that left off. And essentially, they start attacking people, and they were kind of... The Victim Syndicate kind of explains itself that they're here to stop the vigilante menace in Gotham City. And that all of you people are brainwashed to believe that you'll follow a vigilante and that he can pretty much do the same thing the criminals are doing, but because he's stopping the criminals or says he's stopping the criminals, that it's okay and that he can get away with it. And that he's doing the job that the police that should be doing and not getting in trouble. And that the police are even working with him, and that it's a corrupt system.
And they've kind of, in what the victim syndicate is kind of alluded to, is they are the crossfire of Batman trying to rid Gotham of its villains.
Correct.
Which is I think that is actually kind of a cool twist.
Yes, I agree. I thought that was the very strong twist.
The victims, the bystanders, the caught in the crossfire have now risen in anger and have become the villain. Mm-hmm. I mean, and they have, and by the way this has gone, this has become they're a well thought out, like they have sat and they have this vengeance that they want to deliver, and they have sat and they have planned it.
Yeah.
And they have a plan, and I think that's kind of cool.
Well, like the leader of it, basically they attack a spoiler right away, and she gets sick, really sick, like poisoned. And Mr. Noxious makes her sick, pretty much poisons her. And then you have the main leader is basically calling out Batman.
Yeah.
And they're face to face, and Batman goes to like punch her, and he can't, or him or her or whatever it is, and he can't. And he was like, "I prepared for this." He was like, "You think with your fists, and you want to punch everything." And he's like, "So I took that away from you. I made it so you can't punch me." And then you have kind of like the big dude, like this lurch looking motherfucker in there, and then they have the penguin looking chick that faces off against Clayface, and you just have this very different, unique group of villains this time, and they're like, everything that happens next, everyone who gets hurt, it's all your fault to Batman. And they explain to him that like one of them was the first person, she was like the protege to the Scarecrow and worked under him.
And she was like the guinea pig.
Yeah, the guinea pig, and she was the first person hit with his fear toxin. So, well, as we were talking before, she has the glove that kind of looks like the Scarecrow's with the syringes on it. Mm-hmm. She has a reverse fear toxin. And what it does is it pretty much removes your fear. Instead of instilling fear, it removes fear. And basically she removes the fear of all the cops in the gala to start shooting because they're afraid they're going to hit an innocent bystander. And so then they kind of take care of all of them, and then the victim syndicate leaves, and they go back to the Bat Cave or the Bat Tower in the middle of the town, and Fox is kind of working on his stuff, and Batman asks him, he sees the button, and he brings up this table, and Batman...
It's fucking cool.
It is. Batman pretty much asks him, I need you to run this computer, I need you to figure out this computer, it was Tim's, I don't know what it is or how it works. I need you to find this all out and let me know. And then they kind of, what made it really, really interesting is they start running down the list of who the victim syndicate is. And Batwoman says the mute is Virgil Myers. He used to own a joke store in Tri-Corners. He had an allergic reaction to one of the first batches of the Joker's laughing gas. He needed an extreme tracheotomy in order to survive. So the mute guy, he was caught in the crossfire, and he was one of the very first people to be hit by the Joker. Madame Crow is Abigail O'Shea. She was a graduate student of Dr. Jonathan Crane's Scarecrow. One of his first guinea pigs. He spent over a year in Arkham recuperating from his experiments. So yeah, she was the first guinea pig of the Scarecrow. Mr. Noxious is Guy Mandrake, former stockbroker who was briefly under Pamela Isles' control. It was 3 months back when she first emerged on the scene. The experience changed his psychology, making him toxic to anyone in the immediate vicinity. Mudface is what they're calling the woman who was attacked Clayface. Gloria Griffin, a production assistant on the set of Second Skin, basically the guy who, and it was Clayface's last known film. She was doused with the chemicals after he became Clayface and attacked the studio. Her skin became pliable like his, but she can't control it. And Batman's like, I remember now. I remember all of them. They were all caught in the crossfire. None of them were intended targets of the attack. I was. And they still don't know what the main lead, why the main leader is after him, or what happened to her or him or whatever it is. And he kind of pretty much tells Batwoman hit the streets and find out what's going on, get any information she can. He tells Batwing to decode the computer, figure out what's going on, and get back to him. And he's gonna go to basically check on Rumor or Spoiler. And when he's outside talking to the psychiatrist, you see a panel where she's like having a fever dream, and you hear "Hello, Stephanie," and she turns around and there's the leader of the victim syndicate, and he or she says, "I think time we had a little chat." And in the next episode, it's entitled "The Unforgiven." So it was a very good book, very strong writing. I know we just kind of glanced over the victim syndicate, but it's very cool to go back and read this book. I would recommend going and picking this book up, reading it, and reading a little bit more into the victim syndicate and their backstories and kind of what they're all about. And I thought, like to your point, I thought it was an amazing twist. See, I think this had the punch and the grab that the Flash was missing.
Yeah.
The punch and the grab was the fact that the victim syndicate was all people who were indirectly hurt while Batman was trying to fight the villains of Gotham. And even though they weren't essentially the targets, they were caught in the crossfire. Yeah. And it's all people who are pissed off about that and are now coming to seek their vengeance on the guy whose fault they feel it is in Batman.
I think that's cool. I think it's a cool twist. I think that's going to be some good storytelling.
So this book, to me, warrants an 8.5.
I agree.
Strong showing. I can't wait to see where it goes from here. And it had that nice punch and grab in the fact of the shocking twist of who the victim syndicate was. So.
Yep, 8.5, good book. Can't wait to read 9:45. Thank you.
So
I said good day.
So yeah, I mean, again, on this episode we recapped. We read Batman Detective Comics. That got an 8.5. All-Star Batman. That got a 6.5.
Yeah.
Clone Conspiracy, 7.5, I think. The Flash, I gave it a 7. You gave it an 8. I gave it a 7.5. You gave it an 8. Then Shipwrecked.
I think I gave it a 5.
Yeah.
Which is probably a little rough. I did Batman
Ninja Turtles
Adventures. I think I gave that a 7.5. And then
your pick of the week,
my pick of the week, Violet Love. I don't remember what I gave it. I think I gave it an 8.5.
So I mean, we had actually had a very good smorgasbord or mixture of books this week between the two of us. Normally we read the same books,
right? We're on the cycle together.
Yeah, it was a good week. Good books this week. I mean, honestly, if there's a book that I'm going to recommend you not read this week, it would be All-Star Batman. Every other book I would say go pick up, check out if you're not already reading.
I would say don't read Shipwreck.
I mean, if you want to get into these books, yeah, Detective Comics is at 944 issues, but that's been ongoing since the very first issue. Mm-hmm. So don't let that deter you. You can still, it's only probably on like 10 issues from Rebirth. The Flash is on 10 issues. Batman is up there. You know, it just go out there. If you want to get into this book, go out there and pick them up, man. Pick up the trades. Volume 1 of all the trades just came out.
Yeah, I was saying you could probably pick up all the first story arcs.
Yeah, in trade form and check them out, and then if you decide to continue reading on, you can do so. But yeah, I hope our reviews of the books this week help you made a decision if you were kind of like, well, do I want to get into this book? Do I not want to get into this book? Hopefully, our reviews help you make it a little bit more of a decision on whether you should start reading something or not. Investing your time, because, you know, let's face it, comics is a lot of time. You have to invest a lot of time in them.
A lot of time and a lot of money.
A lot of time and a lot of money. But, yeah, so that'll do it for this week's episode of Comic Book Reviews. If you have any questions, comments, you disagree with something that we said, you disagree with a review.
Keep it to yourself.
You think we should review something else. We missed something maybe that you feel like was important, that we should have taken into consideration for a review. Link it to it, Facebook post it, comment it, leave it on the voicemail, tweet at us.
Do we get any new voicemails?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. The only one we got was from Andy playing the fucking song from The Walking Dead. That song makes me want to blow my fucking head off. I'm not going to subject the listeners to it. But
really, how did you play it for a while?
No,
just once.
Yeah, but it was really shitty audio, so you could barely hear it. Like I could tell what it was, but if I were to put it in here, people are like, "What the fuck is that?"
They're on Easy Street.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, definitely if you want to leave a comment about something that we reviewed or rebuttal or you guys are fucking wrong, do it. Comment below.
Say what?
Facebook, Twitter. All those special things. So yeah. That'll do it for this week's episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast presents comic book reviews. I'm Matt.
And I'm Kyle.
Saying remember to support your local comic shop.
Keep them back and boarded.
And we will see you next time.